Okay, sorry about
No,
that.
you're there.
We had a slight bamboozle. Some of these lights are
Makes us look like we got something to
make it
show.
look like something got over our
I
head. You
know. I
get your
see.
lights on.
I know. I got it.
Turn your
I
light
got
off.
a laser going through my
Little
brain,
laser through your head.
through my brain.
We are in where are we at tonight? Illinois, Indiana. We're
We're
in
in Indiana.
Indiana. We're in Indiana, up north of Fort Wayne. Somewhere up here north of Fort Wayne. Not too far north of Fort Wayne. Is it Fort Wayne?
It's in Auburn.
Yeah, but what's the name of the city we're north of? Fort Wayne.
Yeah, Fort Wayne.
Anyway, we're just about into Michigan.
It's cold here, and the wind is blowing at about 29 miles
26
gust.
miles and gusts, 6 mile an hour winds, 26 gusts, and it was blowing earlier. I believe it was blowing a lot
That was when it was blowing
hard,
29. That's what the
harder,
weatherman said.
harder, harder. Hope everybody is doing good. Let me get back
Mel
to where I
Mac, it wasn't you. It
was.
was Thomas.
It was me. I had messed something up here. We had planned on covering. What I had planned on doing tonight, and I actually went ahead and put something out earlier, and then I changed it. Was that there's been some talk about that there's supposed to be some white privileged about reporting on minorities that are missing because of how much press the Gabby Petito case is getting. And I don't think that's it. I think it was just, I don't know what it was. It just caught everybody's attention the way it happened. Somebody would actually think they could get away with something like this. I think that was the best thing. My ears are roaring or something. I got out there and got in the cold.
Wait, let me see. Nope, don't say nothing. I saw all the way through to the
That's
windshield.
what I thought you were gonna say. Um, but
I see
the
pictures.
reason why I changed it was because we had breaking news that there is a federal warrant issued this afternoon. It was actually through a grand jury indictment yesterday. The federal grand jury is running pretty much 24/7, not 24/7, 7 days a week. Every day there's a federal grand jury somewhere, but this is in Denver, and they probably have got one running all the time anyway because they look at about, I don't know, 1,000 cases during a grand jury, a federal grand jury.
Hey, 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 leave the cat alone.
So they issued a warrant for him for basically credit card fraud, basically across state lines. Now, everybody was all freaked out. Why didn't they arrest him for murder? Why didn't he? Well, I hate to tell you this, but the federal government, for federal crime, murder is not a federal crime. They cannot charge you with murder as a federal crime. They can charge you with uh, hiring somebody to kill you. That's a federal crime. Kidnapping is a federal crime. But murder, there's not a statute for murder under the federal. You can't charge you felony murder as a federal crime. That's left to the state where it happens in. So that will come over. They can charge him for carrying the body across state lines. They can charge him for mail fraud if he talks on the cellular phone to somebody in another state about the murder. He can charge him a lot of stuff, but murder itself is not a federal crime. Not to say you can't commit murder and get charged. You're just not going to be charged federally for it.
Well, he could be charged if he murdered her in Utah and carried her to Wyoming.
Yes, or if he used a bomb to kill her, then
Oh, no, 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 no.
that's something else. Like Timothy
No,
McVeigh,
no.
when he
Down.
used a bomb to kill somebody, they can use that because they use a destructive device. But they to murder like um anyway, there's not a federal crime for homicides. What I'm getting at.
Oh, congratulations, Chris. I wish I had a granddaughter.
Oh
Chris,
yeah,
is that your
congratulations.
first granddaughter? Is that your first grandchild?
Mm,
Bob, it wasn't you. Tommy hit something wrong.
I had something wrong on my thing on the StreamYard. StreamYard is developing. I've been using StreamYard for a while. I used to use another software, and they changing every day. They're changing something. So I mashed the wrong thing and took myself out of the equation. So it was me, not y'all. All right, but I do want to show you this. We're going to look at the indictment here, and then I've got several people that I want to cover. One is, and I'll go into it in a few minutes, but we've got a girl coming on next week. She's a family member of somebody's missing, and she claims that they're just not getting anybody to pay any attention to her. So she said she'd be glad to come on with us, and we're going to feature her in a few minutes. I'll tell you who that's going to be, so you all can start looking at it and see if there's anything you can figure out on it. Because we are the jury or the investigators. Let me get out. What am I doing here? I can't seem to get. This thing does not want to work for me today. Okay, hold on just a minute. I didn't mean to do that. I'm self promoting when I do that. Hold on just a minute.
What are you self promoting?
I was self promoting our other channel.
Okay, got you.
Let's see here. No, what's my other same day? First off, I'm gonna look at here. This was North Park Police Department 21 minutes ago.
Oh
they
my
they put
gosh.
out this. What kind of search is this? This is searching for a body. They're not searching for somebody alive when they search this way, okay? They're searching for a body. Now, why are they searching this area? Because they had a helicopter with a thermal imager up there. And the thermal imager is picking up heat sources. Now, it can actually see a body itself if the image I've seen a body from thermal image from the sky, and it looks like a body. I mean, you can see hands, feet, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you can't see fingers, but you can see an image. So, but it could have been an alligator, it could have been a deer, could have been something the way it's sitting. It's very rare that they just when you see them, they're stretched out like a human body. But apparently, maybe the helicopter picked up some heat signature that they needed to investigate. So these guys are walking out through this. There's snakes in there, alligators in there. There's everything. It's not a pleasant. It's not a pleasant situation, I can tell you. Um, this came out from the FBI today. On Wednesday, September 22nd, 2021, the U.S. District Court of Wyoming issued a federal arrest warrant for Brian Christopher Laundrie. The warrant was issued pursuant to a federal grand jury indictment for violation of federal statute, and it gives a statute number, use of an unauthorized access device. And there's a ton of stuff that could cover, but they ended up going further into that. Related to Mr. Laundrie's activities following the death of Gabrielle Petito. While this warrant allows law enforcement to arrest Mr. Laundrie, the FBI and our partners across the country continue to investigate the facts and circumstances of Miss Petito's homicide, said FBI Denver Special Agent in Charge, Michael Schirmer. We urge individuals in knowledge of Mr. Laundrie's role in the matter, his current whereabouts, to contact the FBI. No piece of information is too small and are inconsequential to support our efforts in the investigation. The FBI also continues to seek information for anyone who utilized the Spray Creek dispersed camping area between the dates of August 27th to the 30th, 2021, who may have contact with Mrs. Petito or Mr. Laundrie, uh, and who may have seen their vehicle. And it gives the phone numbers and everything that y'all can contact. And I think if you call 1-800 FBI, uh, FBI tip line, basically, you can you can get it. I think it's let me see if they tell you. Yeah, 1-800 call FBI if you know anything or know anybody that knows anything. They're still trying to gather a put a timeline together. What?
Bob says alligators cough up hairballs like cats. I wonder if they ate a person wearing clothes, if they would cough up clothes, and how long would it take for it to happen?
Well, I'm
Ugh.
gonna tell you, we where I used to work, we had tons of alligators, and we swim in the lake Shelby out there, and Lake Shelby had tons of alligators. First off, somebody that say goes in the water there and they've been drownings out in that lake, and alligators won't even bother them for a while because what they have to do, the human body's got to get somewhat putrefied. In other words, it start to deteriorate before the alligator's going to want to do anything to him.
Rhonda said, we looked up to see if Brian could be charged with federal murder since it was on federal land. He can be charged with federal murder, Mr. T.
Okay, well, if I didn't think about that, he is on federal land. I guess so, if he could, but there's not there's not a charge though. If you look back into the homicide, there's not a straight charge for homicide in federal statutes. I know that because we had a murder where we were trying to get him charged federally because they is state for day, and an FBI agent told me there's not a straight federal charge for murder in the federal statutes. It has to be in combined with another federal charge for them to charge you, like they did Timothy McVeigh, uh, and stuff like that with a bombing. Well, that's what he told me.
Yeah, but
So
look,
that's what
she's
I've gone with all this time. I've never heard of anybody charged with
okay.
straight murder, even on a reservation or
However, under
anything.
certain specific circumstances, 18 USCS 1111, murder
Hmm.
becomes a federal matter, and those cases are tried at federal court by the United States government.
That taught me something because
That's what we got
I've
these people for.
I've never seen a federal statute where it is. Now, I didn't think about it, though. If somebody's killed in a national park, there's no other jurisdiction except park police or the FBI. So yeah, I guess you're right. I just never had. I guess I've never experienced that, but that's just an FBI agent. We were talking about a murder within inside our state of Alabama, so that may be where he's getting it. Uh, but thank you. I didn't know that.
Talk about the camping trip they went on.
Well, we will in a second. I
Okay.
want to go over this arrest warrant
Okay,
first.
sorry.
And here's a copy of the warrant. It's just one day. I mean, just one page, and it came out. You're not going to see. You're not going to see pretty much the full like affidavit because it came out of a grand jury indictment. Grand jury, 19 people decide if there's enough to warrant going to trial on a case, and they issue a grand jury indictment, which I think is better because then there's no question. And then here is a copy of the indictment. Let me get this big where I can read it. From on August the 30th, 2020, through and including September the 1st. Now, here's what they talked about in one of the channels. Was he home then? And or was this money taken out somewhere else? Maybe had to be in Wyoming, pretty much, for it to be charged in Wyoming through grand jury. Of course, it's a federal grand jury, so there's jurisdiction wherever they, in the United States, any and any uh, other things. But so I guess he probably withdraw money on a credit card and then use that money to get back home. But now there's some rumors going around that he maybe they drew out money, flew home, hired an attorney out there, did some stuff, and then flew back and got the van. But I've never seen anything of that nature. I just heard it today when I was listening to something. The District of Wyoming and elsewhere, the keyword and elsewhere, the defendant Brian Christopher Laundrie, knowingly and with intent to defraud, used one or more unauthorized access devices, namely a Capital One bank debit card ending in 8774, and a personal identification number of a Capital One bank accounts ended in 0525 and 8665, and by such conduct obtained things of value in excess basically of $1,000 or more during this period of time that affected interstate commerce, which would be basically either uh, he bought things and that was like a cell phone. He could have bought a cell phone and used it to call his parents. He could have bought an airline ticket. He could have bought gas where he inside Wyoming, and then again as he's going home with that money. If you cross a state line or involved in interstate commerce at all, where this means you're out for another thing, even if you don't mean to, and you use a computer and you're talking to Google or something, and wherever Google's at, California, then it's interstate commerce. Period. So that's where he is. And the main thing is too, this will get him in jail. This warrant will get him in jail. It is a felony. He won't have to make a federal bond to get out of jail. If he can, they may give them a means to question him on this, which could be leading into something else. So this is uh, a pretty big deal, really. You said something.
Wait, he also drove across state lines, right?
Yeah, well, of course he drove from
We'll talk.
Wyoming to Florida. And here's another thing though. He's what Medina was talking about is when he got home, the neighbors said that they attached this camper to the backside, the truck camper to their thing. They loaded it up and they took a 3-day camping trip.
This was 3 days after.
3 days after he got back, they took a camping trip. They went off for 3 or 4 days. Here's the key. One of the neighbors said he left in the truck and we never saw him come back. So here's the thing. Maybe what I'm thinking is they took this car and maybe they took it down to the reserve, the Mustang, faked it. They wait till a ranger puts a note on it and they go get it and take it back. And maybe he is somewhere else. Although I'm really suspecting if he's in that forest, if he's there, I don't think he's alive. That's just my opinion. I think he is panicking and he did something to himself. However, his parents are acting like he's alive and he's somewhere else. They said that they were in Orlando today, possibly visiting with an attorney. One thing that the newscast said today, and I was watching AFLA, I think it is that. Anyway, I was watching a live stream. Y'all might have watched some of it too. They said, and I haven't had a chance to look this up. They said in Florida, under state law, that the parents cannot be charged for aiding and abetting
after the fact.
After the fact.
I don't understand that.
I don't know that to be true, but
one of them was an attorney talking about it.
I don't know that to be true still. The attorney's not always right. But I know you can federally. They can federally charge you with aiding and abetting a crime, a felon, if he's involved in like across commerce, like state lines, and he is.
Well, one of the things they said too that was confusing to me was they said he may have flown home,
and that's what he was talking about,
and then flew and went back with his parents to get the van or something. I don't know.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that's going on with this. I think it's going to come out in the wash, as they say. But yeah, they're saying today that his parents may facilitated him and getting away, taking him somewhere, giving him money. You've got to have money to live anywhere. You just can't live in the woods. I don't care what you got to have money. And I'm gonna tell you, I know a lot of other people have covered this. I know that Chris McDougal covered it last night. The job of catching him right now, the number one agency is the U.S. Marshals.
Yeah,
The FBI will work the case, but the U.S. Marshals will take the
catch the
job.
meat.
And I'm going to tell you this because I have personally worked with the U.S. Marshals and apprehending fugitives. They are the best at what they do. Period. These guys, they get on you and they do not let up. And they've got all kinds of high tech equipment that I can't even talk about right now that we worked with that I'm not going to talk about it. But I can tell you this, they used to call me anytime they were in my city and they would tell me who they were going to get and ask me if I'd want to go with them. And I went every time that I could because it was just awesome to work with these guys. I know a bunch of them personally, and I know a bunch of retired marshals personally. And I can tell you, they do not give up. They will follow you into a foreign country. They will just not give up. They are the best at what they do, period. And I can honestly say that they are. If the marshals ever get after you, you might as well just give yourself up because they will never ever give up and they will find you. They've got all kinds of means on following you and they'll go after the guys, the fathers, all of his financials to find out if he is supplying him anything, his credit cards, find out if they've been charged. They'll go after all of this stuff and they will find you. They'll have, I wouldn't doubt if there's not a team of marshals that are working out of that Tampa office probably that are working just straight on him alone, you know.
Okay, so um, I don't care. Said, did y'all hear that they took him with their little camper for a 3-day week before he got home? The swamp is the harshest environment. That's where they train the Green Berets. I don't
Right.
see him getting out of there. Alex says, I think he made it to Mexico before she was reported missing, and the charades about him being in Florida was fabricated.
Well, if he's in Mexico, that's stupid because Mexico will hold you and send you back to the United States. There's only a limited amount of countries that will not extradite you. One is Brazil will not extradite you if you marry a Brazilian or if you do some other little things. There's a bunch of
They
Nazis
said,
supposed to be down there.
is Cuba's borders open?
Well, Cuba's there is a fugitive in Cuba right now that killed a police
That's
officer
right.
up north. She has been down there, I think, for about 15 years. Cuba will not give us her. I always suspected somebody would go back there and try to kidnap her and get her out of there. But you know,
Then
first off, he's going to need money. He can't just disappear without money. And I think by his father rather, I think if they are supporting him to get him out of there, which I don't understand that because what they need to be doing is if to get him a lawyer, turn himself in, and then handle it through the legal system rather than just trying to run, because it's not going to be what's going to happen is he's going to end up getting into some type of altercation with law enforcement and this a shootout, and he's going to die. I mean, if he gets out there and shoots at the police or tries to uh, do it, it's not going to end well for him. And so it's best if he wants to live, he needs to turn himself in. I mean, it's not going to do him any good to get out here and try to shoot it out with law enforcement to keep him going to jail. That's just not going to work. I don't believe he's in that swamp because if he's in the swamp, I don't think he's alive. Now, if he went out there to do something to himself, but since we've learned about the parents taking him on a trip, to me, that has opened up a
yeah,
whole new avenue because you think about this. They take him somewhere and drop him off, okay? Give him to some kinfolk, whatever, to hide him out, whatever. Then they come back and fake this thing with the car. That could be it. They could send, him into, say he went into the swamp and they could say, oh, we're worried about him killing himself. And that's what
but
I
they didn't even
understand.
report him missing for 3
Right.
days.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They had already been on this camping trip by then.
That was after the fact. The if y'all want to
I
know
don't
where we
know.
got that from, the neighbors were interviewed by the police, and they talk
Neighbors
about,
said
yeah,
that.
the
They said
neighbor,
they left.
they
Said
left
they thought it
after
was
three. Weird,
weird
yeah,
that a young. He said that the mother and father would have their 24-year-old son on a camping trip
in
with
that
them
small of a
in the
camper.
small of a camper because it's just like a one of these truck campers, uh, and they brought the truck camper back, but supposedly he wasn't with them, which 3 days you can go all the way across the country almost in 3 days, and you can't go take. I guess you could if you drove straight through, but I would think they may be South Florida, New Orleans, Texas, maybe near the border.
Nellie
You know,
said, "I think he plans on never being found like the Zodiac killer he was reading about."
well, I'm gonna tell you something. He's no Zodiac killer. He is not a Zodiac killer. And the marshals were not in existence hot and heavy and have all the little goodies and high tech devices and all that kind of stuff when the Zodiac killer was out there doing his thing. They were there, they were in existence, but they didn't have all the high tech little goodies now. And I guarantee you, if he is alive, he will be found in 6 months, if not a lot sooner. The only reason I say 6 months is if his parents helped him and they gave him a bunch of money, and if he stays somewhere, maybe he's at a house of a relative or a friend, maybe, then if he stayed in one spot, he could hide out. But he's not going to have a life. He's not going to be able to work. Mexico is not the answer for him. I don't think he speaks Spanish. Two, we had a fugitive that ran to Mexico that I know of, and he was waiting tables in a restaurant, and he just happened to serve an FBI agent that was on vacation down there. Recognized him, and within an hour, he's in federal custody. So, and he was down there for about 4 months, but um, if he doesn't speak Spanish or not fluent Spanish, you will get you will get called. And if he's alive, honestly, I don't think it'd take 6 months. I think a couple of months if he's alive. Uh,
Nellie says she doesn't believe he's a Zodiac killer either. That she believes
no,
he has fantasies of it, maybe reading the book, maybe.
right? I
Okay.
mean, listen, you can't. It's you think about this. If you had to leave your house tonight and the police says we're in somebody said, well, look, in 3 days you will be arrested, in 3 days or a week, just say a week, and you don't how much money could they possibly get together, you know 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, I don't know. There are people out there on the run with millions of dollars and still finding it very difficult to hide. It's a very difficult to hide in today's world of media. You can go to Walmart and buy you a flip phone, one of these pay by the minute phones, a burner phone they call them.
Dye your hair.
You can dye your hair, you can do all this kind of stuff, but what kind of life is first off, he's not going to have anybody with him probably. So I just don't. I heard somebody say, well, he'll try to get to the Appalachian Trail. He's hiked that before. Go ahead, there's a ton of folks on the Appalachian Trail and they know what he looks like. Just because you get to the Appalachian Trail, there's people that what they call through hikers, that it's not a trail that is not heavily traveled.
Okay.
So you know
Tommy, do you think Brian is out of the state by help of his from his parents? And sounds strange that we don't hear anything from his lawyer.
well, his lawyer, I think his lawyer is, uh, he's not going to say anything unless he gets arrested or the parents get charged with something. He's not going to say anything. Why should he? It's not a benefit to him to Brian or his parents for the lawyer to talk. No benefit. I think he's out of state. If he's on the run, he's definitely out of state, or he's down in South Florida somewhere. But I don't believe that he's going to be around places where there's a lot of folks. If he's a outdoors type guy, he's all this kind of stuff. But we got winter coming on. There's a limited amount of places that he could go that would be conducive to the for the weather for him to camp. But I'm just telling you, I don't think one thing is he could go to Mexico. So what? And tell me. I mean, I see all the time people getting picked up in Mexico, and Mexico jail. You may have to stay in there 3 or 4 months before they can get you back in the United States. And that I don't. I wouldn't want to stay down there in Mexico jail. Um,
No.
I think honestly, I don't think. I think if he has gone into the swamp area, he's not alive. If he is on the run, they will get him fairly quick.
Okay, Nellie said mask will help him, and somebody, I guess they deleted what. Anyway, never mind. Somebody deleted what they said, so I can't. Uh,
I just don't think that. Some just gives me the feeling that that he's hurt himself.
do you think they found something in the autopsy that caused them to finally issue a warrant?
I heard somebody ask that question. I don't think so. Um, you know, there was a picture today of the place that she was found on social media, and how they're making it some type of memorial out there. It appeared to me that she was buried, shallow grave type thing. That's a pure indication of homicide. Of course, you don't bury yourself. Uh, I think that they will probably find blunt force trauma. That's a common thing if somebody's physically or maybe suffocation. But I don't think that anything they saw is going to be anything more than they want to wait for the touch screen. I think before
Bob has a
they get
question.
it.
Doesn't cash money have those security strips in them so they can be tracked, or is that conspiracy theory?
That's conspiracy theory. There's none. If you rob a bank, Bob, if you rob a bank, the tellers know some of the serial numbers taken in are scanned for large amounts. Like if a bank transfers a large amount to the other, they know the batch of serial numbers, but it would have to be like not a bank necessarily, but say like a storage facility that stores a lot of money, like Fort Knox or whatever. They would know serial numbers in an order, serial numbers between so and so and so and so. But what they do is now they die pack them. If you rob a bank, you have a die pack in there to blow up and return the money like orange or something. You've seen money. You get it sometimes got some red on it or something. That came from a die pack. Or they'll put like uh, a small GPS strip in the money pack, comes in the actual money pack. I had an opportunity to go to work for a company like that one time, uh, but they don't keep the serial numbers for all the bills that come into a bank. It's only if a bank transfers, like say a bank needs $1 million or 200,000 or 300,000, they would transfer a new money. I'm talking about new money from the mint. They can tell the serial numbers for new money because they're all consecutive and they run for like so and so serial number to so and so serial number. But if they just get, say, I come in tomorrow, if I had that money and deposited $100,000 in my bank account, first Dina would be saying, "Hey, you got $100,000?"
Okay.
But they wouldn't know the serial numbers on
Okay.
that money.
Love Wins has a question. What I want to know is he's still using the credit card because that's a way to find him by setting an alert on the system. I doubt that he's still using
No,
that
he's
credit
not
card.
using that credit card. And here's one I question is, was it was it Gabby's credit card? Was it Gabby's family's credit card? Was it his own family's credit card? That's another thing. Maybe here's what won't it be a shocker if if his family itself are trying to get him caught so that he doesn't end up in a shootout with police or getting himself killed.
No, these parents. I don't think
I
that.
don't think so either, but
These parents are
it could
weird.
be. It could be,
These
you know.
parents are
I
strange.
don't think he has it.
It
And
was her credit card,
okay, if it's
Sandra.
hers credit card, then I'm sure that the parents have canceled that card. You know, if they let him use it from now on, they're just admitting that it's okay for him to get it. I don't think. What is his employment history? I don't think. I know he is. If you go to his Instagram, he is a very talented artist as far as drawing and stuff like that. But I don't know if that was his career or his um, I don't know if that's what he did. I didn't get maybe I would think I heard somebody say construction, but that's kind of general. I lost my internet there for a second. I don't know what happened. Everything just went blank. So I don't know if you can hear me. I'm back. Um,
Ah,
I don't know what happened. Uh, we have our own portable type of internet, and sometimes it's great, other times it's not. Welcome back. Thank you. Um, but
welcome back.
I don't think that that Brian's. I think he's going to have limited funds. If he is still alive and not dead out in their swamp somewhere, then I think he will be in custody in short order. They had a video of a guy that looked like him in Florida, and they searched that area out and found that guy, so it wasn't him. Let me tell you about it, somebody, so y'all will look at this case. This is a girl. We're going to have her family on like I think Thursday next week, if we are in a place to have great internet, which we should be by then, hopefully. Um,
Okay, hold on. They're still talking. You
okay,
got to
but
give
let
them a
me
minute.
give them this so
Well, listen to
they would
this.
look at this girl, look for this girl.
Alexandra says he has been seen in Canada.
Well, if he's seen in Canada, he'll be in jail in a week. Prediction.
Erna, if he gets cornered, he could be dangerous. Yes.
Anybody dangerous if you get cornered. Anybody can. You don't know if you're looking at, what he's looking at is at very least 30 to 40 years in prison. He will probably not get the death penalty because unless it can be proven that it was a crime where he uh, premeditated or he did it for some type of personal gain like money or that he was doing it for hire or something, which I don't think that's it. So probably not going to be a death penalty case. Maybe, uh, but he could easily get 30 or 40 years. And at his age, he'd be there, be possibly trying to get out of jail when he's 80, if then. Um, but I don't think personally. I just got a real bad feeling that if he is somewhere, he's going to try to hurt himself.
Okay, Love
Yeah.
Wins says I'm going to layperson diagnose him. Conduct disorder spotted in childhood, in school, social relations, and probably emblazoned in medical records or whatever. Now psychopath, antisocial personality disorder, ultra high covert narcissism, conduct disorder as a child, an abuser who wears a false mask. Whoa.
Yeah, well, Dr. Phil the other day, believe it or not, was on there before she was found, and he said that he could see from his conduct on the traffic stop that he was narcissistic, that uh he felt like he was losing control, maybe that she had this YouTube thing going on, and she was doing her website, and he was condescending about her website and that she couldn't do it. And maybe this was an avenue he saw that he had no control over her with, because her friend said that he was very controlling, very controlling. So if they lose control of the person they're in control of, then they lash out. Um, Somebody asked, "Does the feds have the death penalty?" Yes. Timothy McVeigh died in the, I think it was lethal injection. Um, uh,
Tommy. Salty wants to know what are your thoughts about cops that pulled them over? What would you have done differently?
well, I tell you, I think they had a big communication problem with that police officers. The dispatcher had the call the dispatcher got, and it's been shown. Dispatch got the call. I listened to the guy that called it in. He said, "There's a guy in a van. They're over here, and the guy is punching this girl, hitting her in the face, hitting her, was slapping her." If I had been the police officer that pulled him over and had that information, he would have went to jail in a story. I don't care if she said I hit him in the arm and all that. It shows that maybe she was defending herself, but um that was not given from dispatcher to the police, was not given. Now I don't know if it was a dispatcher in another area, or that maybe she just dropped the ball, but it was definitely something that cost him from going to jail. Now, uh, they said on one of the channels that the laundries have assets between 2 and 5 million. Well, yeah, he could be anywhere then. Um, but if it would have been me out there on the scene, and I have been in situations like that lots of times, just from what I heard out there, I might have did the same thing. Uh, but if I'd have known that he had been slapping her, we would have pulled up, got him out of the car, and cuffed him right away. He'd been going to jail for domestic violence. Now, that said, it doesn't mean he'll stay in jail. The next morning, a lot of these places, because they realize that you're out of town, you're on vacation, they don't want to hold you. They'll hold you for 24 hours to make sure everything's calmed down, and then they kick him loose on a signature bond or something. Um, Mental health people need to learn and take action when they need to. Yeah, I agree with that.
Question: what would the police need to get the GPS off parents' truck? Hey, I don't care. I like the way you did that question with the big red X. I caught it.
Uh, well, the GPS on their truck, if they have one on there, is the computer, let's just go this and say the computer on your vehicle, my vehicle, if you have a late model vehicle, you have a computer that tells the speed you were going, if you had a collision, if the airbags went out, and tells you stuff like that. But it's not a GPS. The reason why, unless you have a GPS inside your truck that's on all the time through a navigation system, then they could pull it out. But the reason Barry Morphew had that in his truck is he had a commercial truck that was a part of the truck's system, that it had GPS in it. But a normal car that you and me drive, as long as we don't have a GPS that is like the new vehicles have GPS attached to them, they won't tell them
Your phone will
anything.
tell you where you've been sometimes.
The phones will,
Okay,
yeah.
listen. Why didn't they know he had been slapping her and yelling at a restaurant employee? And do you think the
The
dispatcher or the
dispatcher dropped the ball. She did not relay it, and
do
that
you do you think the dispatcher or police will be investigated?
no, I think it's well. I know that there's been already been some lots and lots of talk about the dispatch dropped the ball. But here, you think about this. Now, I don't know out there. I don't think it would be that, but I don't know that area, and I don't know how many calls they get. A a police department, say Chicago, New York, they're used to dealing with all these domestics all the time. So they automatically, boom, they give it out. They put it out exactly. Females on the phone, guys on the phone. You said slap it on the head, no problem. These people may not deal with one or two domestics a month, so it may not be something that the operator is used to giving out that information along with the call. I have I have been in situations where dispatch has failed to give us information, like the guy had a gun. And we drive up on the situation and the guy standing there with a rifle in his hand. I mean, and you ask dispatch, hey, and it was just because the dispatcher was in there at the time was doing something else on their phone, maybe, or doing not paying attention, or wasn't, you have great dispatchers, and then you have dispatchers that are not so great, and I've dealt with both of them. And so we had a sign on our dispatch wall that said, you may know where you are, God may know where you are, but if the dispatcher doesn't know where you are, then you and God better be on good terms. And honestly, that's what it said. Now, we had some great dispatchers, and I thank them. I talked to them and all the time on Facebook, and they're real good friends. But then we had one in particular that she was lucky to be awake half the time on third shift. We'd walk in dispatch and she'd be asleep. And for what it was almost, you know what I mean? It was almost impossible to get her fired. But finally, she was fired for passing information about a roadblock to
And then
some
sued you
people,
for
and then
being
suing
sued,
sued me too, sued
sued
me in the
Tommy for
end.
being a racist.
And then I got, of course, was found not guilty in the lawsuit, and she ended up having to pay for the lawsuit. But it was just, you can sue anybody for anything.
Well, the funny thing was she sued you for being a racist, and obviously her lawyer didn't know anything. But when when Tommy's lawyer got up there and started questioning him, he said, he asked him if he was a racist, and he said no. And he said, "Can you tell me how many children you've got?" And he told him, "I've got two." And he said, "And your daughter is adopted, correct?" And Tommy said, "Yes." And he said, "What country is she adopted from?" He
I
said,
said
"Korea."
Korea, and I said, your brother-in-law, what country was he adopted from? He was adopted from Korea. And do you have a black godson? Yes, I do. And were you thinking about adopting a half biracial child, Mexican and black? Yes, we went through the process, and then it was just shot down. But you know, you have good and you have bad in all walks of life, and that's doctors, policemen, dispatchers, everything.
Hey, you want to? If y'all haven't watched the call, 911 call with, I think it's Halle Berry.
Hmm.
Y'all get that and watch it. that dispatcher, whew,
And I'll tell you something else. In talking about dispatchers can only tell what they've been told. Now that dispatcher out there had been told the great stuff. He's slapping her upside the head. You know what I mean? That was great information. If it would have been passed on, it would have been great at information. But if you get out and you see somebody in a fight or been slapping somebody or something, tell dispatcher everything. Don't just tell them, they were out there fighting, because that's just not good enough.
Brittany, I don't understand that. Brian isn't out there surviving without his parents. He's dead if he's ever existed in the first place.
Well,
Mm,
I think he existed.
I'm not sure.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
He's existed because
Alexandra said, "Did you see the John Walsh show on this?"
No, I didn't. I missed that one. We were actually traveling. I understand. I'll probably try to go back and watch it though.
They said he and Gabby were. There are YouTube videos explaining the books, the dark satanic books that he and Gabby were reading.
Mm.
When was it upgraded to an arrest, Thomas? That was this afternoon, wasn't it?
Yesterday, the 22nd, they did a federal indictment. And when the warrant's out there, with an indictment, you can do it.
Do you need water? Is that something?
I think it's it, yeah.
Maybe they're out of water. Let me go take care of the puppies. If y'all write any questions, give me a big red X.
When the indictment came out, then that gives them the right to make an arrest per the indictment. If he was going to kill himself, I think he would have done it, Gabby's body. He's like, maybe, but you got to thinking about this too. When he's looking at and seeing himself spending the rest of his natural life in jail, then you could do a whole lot of things to yourself.
Hey, by the way, guys, remember I asked the other day about MH? She commented on one of our shorts that we've got on YouTube today. The one, I think it's one of the ones with Maggie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But she may be asleep now, so.
She's in Africa, right?
Yeah. South Africa.
Yeah. Bunker footage called it. Gracie, I don't know what you want.
Gracie, stop.
He goes by Oyster Man, has dirty feet, doesn't like plastic bottles. Who goes by Oyster Man?
John Walsh was all fired up on his Anderson Cooper appearance. It was great.
I'll try to watch that. I can pull it up on the computer and do it. Listen. I've met several people around that show,
Nebraska.
and he is a great guy.
Nebraska. Is it cold in Nebraska?
We plan on being in Nebraska in the RV on probably in the spring after the snow gets out of there. We're going to head out west next year.
Oyster is the main character that Brian wanted to become.
Oh, in the book?
Yeah, I don't want to read that.
And what's the name of the book?
Don't get the book.
Well, I mean, I like to read, that kind of thing. If it's... I might have already read some of it.
I, for example, need to understand why people are jealous or intimidated by me, why narcissism is highly attracted to me, what it's about. Okay.
What is the name of the book? Lullaby. I'll have to read the cliff notes on it, you might say.
Gracie, stop.
Yeah, listen.
I think Brian's parents know where he's at.
This was all real. It's not a something that didn't happen. I mean, this is all real. I mean, Brian was seen by way too many people.
Stop. Now, what are you doing?
No, I don't like reading stuff like that, but I do like to read. I like to read about serial killers. I've read all the stuff about you know, Bundy and Zodiac and the the guys that did the killing out in oh, what I can't think right now. The ones that did it in San Francisco, and then the ones that the guy that he was a Satanist, um, Hillside Strangler, yeah, those cases, Son of Sam, and the Son of Sam though has been. I read some of the backstory on him as of recently, even that he claims that reason why he told the people about the dog telling him to kill was actually to help him get an insanity plea, better than the other way around. Um, but I did want to, before we go, because we're running into an hour and my internet might fall off
Come here.
right now, any time.
This is the one that's
This
making
is the one making
all
all the noise. I
Look
don't
at
know
you making
why,
all that noise.
but this is the girl we are going to check in on
Next
and
Thursday.
next Thursday. The family member is going to be coming down from. So if y'all could look up her name and be kind of familiar with it, because
Katie
we're
May.
going to have her family member on the show, either a sister or relative of some sort. You don't think that's the one?
I don't think
That's
you.
what you told me about. You
No,
told me
I
that.
said no. I said Hawthorne. Now
Oh,
look what
you
you
told you
did.
gave me the name, Dana.
Look here. She sent me this information.
You told
Thomas
me that.
Green.
You
Y'all
told
hold
me.
on. He may have pulled up the wrong one.
You
know that you're right. I was wrong.
yeah, see, gosh, wait a minute. You were wrong.
You were right. I was wrong.
Wait a minute, we got to celebrate. It's the only time I've been right.
Stop it.
It's
Oh,
the only time I've been right this year.
that is
Oh,
not true.
Don't
If he doesn't show
don't
up,
beat me.
hey, if he doesn't show up Tuesday, it's because I smothered him with a feathered pillow.
There's my girl there, my little Gracie girl. But now Maggie's getting all fired up over here. Watch Gracie will get on Maggie if you don't watch it. She'll
Inside voice. Inside voice.
she'll growl at her.
Inside voice.
Watch your Gracie.
Hey.
Watch your Gracie.
No, you stop.
Don't even get her.
Inside voice.
Okay, y'all take
Inside.
down her name anyway.
Oh,
This
great.
was look, Gracie's wanting to get her.
Inside voice. Oh, dang it.
Gracie doesn't want her up
Inside
here.
voice.
She's gonna get ugly with her in a minute.
Inside voice. Stop it.
We live with a bunch of
Ooh.
animals. They're control of us.
In the world. Tell him what the cat's doing.
Oh yeah, the cat's chewing up my cables for my cameras.
And Maggie's collar.
And her collar and a bunch of other
all these
stuff.
electrical wires.
But anyway, look here. It says she was left home after an argument, intending to go through a soybean field to a creek 3 miles away. She took a small package bag, left on foot without any cellular phone. She has never been heard from again. And if y'all could look up her name, we will talk about that on Thursday.
And her
family's going to be here. There's some pictures of her. I understand she might have had a drug addiction. We do not know. And also, I want you, this one is very concerning to me. The father says he can't get any help to help look for this. This is a young geologist or out there in the desert, went out in the desert to work on a project, and he has never been seen again either. There is some very strange things that happen involving this case. One thing is he has one arm's been amputated. This one says basically, let's see. No, that's not it. Hold on just a second. What one did I? Well, yeah. Let me make this bigger though so I can read this. Basically, they said that this Petito, the Gabby Petito widely publicized a search and recovery mission and renewed demands for authorities to find the young geologist, which basically by her getting all this publicity it's caused other people to say, hey, look, help us. Our family members are just as valuable, and I agree with that. He went missing in the Arizona desert 2 months ago. Daniel Robinson, 24, was last seen June the 23rd leaving the work site in the suburbs west of Phoenix, according to the Arizona Republic. Robinson reportedly left work in the blue Jeep Renegade that morning and did not tell anyone where he was going. His Jeep was found a month later, rolled over in a ravine, and the airbags deployed. Robinson's cell phone, wallet, keys were found at the scene. According to the article, his family has begun online petition to hold investigators and Buckeye Police Department accountable 2 weeks ago. By Tuesday evening, the petition had 15,000 signatures. From the first day that I arrived, now this is the father talking, in Phoenix, Arizona, I have done more to find my son than law enforcement agency whose jurisdiction authority covers where he was last seen and where his vehicle was recovered. And what they're saying basically in this, that a private investigator had went out there with him, and they said that the wreck was staged. And I got some pictures of that wreck. They claimed the vehicle was driven. It had an impact, and then it was driven after the impact, which I don't know how that investigator could get that opinion of that, to tell that or not. But this is another picture of him. Um, from the first day out of that, he goes in saying that my public searches are coming into the to the completion, and the Buckeye Police Department has responsibility to continue. But see, you can see him. He doesn't have a right arm. It is looks like it's behind his back, but it's not. It's a he had it amputated somehow. But he's a real good looking kid, and I call him 24 as kid. It is kid to me. This is where his vehicle was or turned over, rolled over. So he could have been trying to get through that ditch and hit something wrong, and it rolled over on him. But to leave all this stuff, he could have had a head injury. He could have went out trying to find help up on himself. But here is a real big kicker to me and Medina. We're talking about and we're reading it. Investigators said a human skull was recovered near the crash site, but it did not belong to Robinson.
But it did belong to somebody, but they didn't find any other body bones.
No, and they found some bones, but they were belonged to an animal. So that skull was from somebody dead that was probably brought in that area by animals, but it could be from years ago. But this case needs to be followed up. He needs some help. We need to bring
The
some
father
heat.
needs, yeah.
Yeah, we need to bring some heat out there on this. We need to feature this thing, get some more information on it, and try to help this kid. Some searches be done out there.
And
I mean
and
that,
plus his father is doing it all by himself right
right.
now. And
I
so
mean, I can't imagine
if
what
we
he's
can get a
going
hold of
through.
his father, we would love to have him on.
Right, and give him some free airtime for sure. Um,
Listen, stop
and
knocking my
then
computer.
it says basically, Phil, he's 5'8" tall, does not have a right forearm and hand, and he's there are about 17,000 unsolved active missing person cases in the U.S. And that was at the bottom of this article. And
They want you to put the petition on the community page.
okay, I will try to find it. It was not listed in that article, but I'll try to find that. Uh, but
Salty said the airbags came out and the car still traveled miles away after that.
well, what they're saying is this: they're saying that the private investigator said he thought the car was wrecked, something happened to him, and then whoever was involved in it drove it out there and turned it over in that ravine, which I don't, and then left all this stuff out there. I don't see that. I think it'd be more, unless there's something in the scene that they're not telling us. But here's the thing: I would think it'd be more likely that guy was out there, flipped it over, got a head injury, lost his where he's at, and went out walking and then died out in the desert of hypothermia, or not or hypothermia, night, or dehydration, because you're talking about way out there. Now, what I don't understand is why don't they put an area of search, for this guy? I mean, he's been 2 months, so he's gonna in a desert environment. If he did die out there, they're probably only gonna find his skeleton and clothes, and that's about it.
She gave up.
But we will cover this. Um, we will cover it more and keep up with it. There's a few cases I do want to keep up with. Of course, there's no other information I have heard zip on the Barrymore few case other than he is out of jail right now.
And some.
And Summer Wells, nothing.
And the little.
And I've checked on Michael Vaughn, nothing on that case either. And of course, the Orson Welles twins, there, nothing on that. So,
these children are out there, and God knows where they are.
Yeah. But
yes, Alexandra, there are bad people everywhere, and we have to be our guard has to be up. I always pray for Holy Spirit warnings if there's someone. I'm sure y'all have been around people before that give you the back of your hair on the back of your neck stands up, and you just go, ah. I've told that to my husband before. Don't be around that person. I'm telling you, something's wrong.
And I want you to, I want y'all to check out AK's. He's putting out some videos now. He's always done real good. AK has. Also, I support all of our other
everybody that's
Duty
helping.
Duty Ron's done great. I try to watch when I can his thing. I watch Chris. I watch a bunch of them. I don't have any type of relationship with any of those guys as far as we working together on anything. I know that Sergeant Melinda was trying to get something up with me and Duty Ron. I guess we can't get on the same wavelength because we're all out here running around. Do want to support AK though. He's done a great job, and I think his heart's in the right place, and him and Gonzo. So I know when they can get out here and look at things,
they'd be the boots on the ground.
They'd be the boots on the ground. This old boots of mine is about to got too old, but
the back
to
has.
be boots on the ground much. But we support you, AK and Gonzo, and a few others out there. Their heart's in the right place, and that's where we want. And so far, I haven't seen anything that I wouldn't support of what they're doing. All right, guys, girls, and guys.
Thank y'all for showing up tonight.
We're gonna let y'all go. We're actually sitting here, the only ones in this place out here. It is cold outside, and I'm not used to it being this cold without some long sleeve shirts.
But somebody wanted to go north.
I do.
Somebody wanted to see snow.
I do still want to see a little of that stuff.
You can't see that stuff without it getting cold.
Well, as long as I got my long handles and everything on, I'll be all right.
You will not.
Last night it was a little chilly, but
yeah, we're out here in the middle of nowhere. I told him we may need to load a gun tonight because there ain't nobody around.
But if y'all can, I'm gonna run this banner, and I appreciate my mods for putting it up there.
You.
If you can, go over and subscribe if you hadn't already to our 1 million mile road trip. We did pick up a few today.
Alexandra said, "Do you have red pants with those suspenders?"
All right, Tony. But if you can subscribe to our channel, we sure would appreciate
Gonzo
it.
placed the rock cross where Gabby was found.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
That's awesome. We do, like I said, we do want to support Gonzo and Alex, and AK rather, and anybody else too that has got good in their heart. Them two guys got good in their heart, and I've never seen anything they've done that wasn't meant to be good. I don't. I've seen some YouTubers come and go, but these guys have done a great job, and I will always support them. Come back on Tuesday. We should be hopefully in a good spot where we have internet. If we don't, we'll let you know. I will try to find that petition or that for those on the signatures. Try to get a hold of that guy too. And if you would go over and subscribe to our channel, we would super appreciate that.
And share our channels, y'all.
Yeah, if you could share. We this is our RV channel. This channel, although it has not grown much, since it hit 5,000, it hasn't grown much, but it doesn't matter. That's it. Sure, I would love to have a lot more, but it would just help spread the word. But we'll just let God handle that. We would appreciate if you would go over and subscribe to our YouTube channel on the 1 Million Mile Road Trip, though. That would help more than you know. And listen, tonight, if you could give me a thumbs up, I appreciate it. If you don't like us, give us a thumbs down. YouTube loves interaction. Thumbs down, thumbs up, a comment,
how about
and subscribe if you would. I sure would appreciate
time
it.
out. How about a thumbs up for me and a thumbs down for you?
No.
Well, that way we'll know which one they like the best.
No. But anyway, if you could go over and leave us a comment too, that always
thumbs
helps
up.
that.
Thumbs
and
down.
We hope to see you on Tuesday. And
that Ford video is good. That place is amazing.
Yeah.
If y'all get to come, it is amazing.
But we got a few videos in between that. I did do a video on a hemp farm that I did. A friend of mine, friend of ours has, and I just put that out on the journey, the CBD farm. And that was, I'm telling you, I felt kind of weird up there because all those times, and I worked narcotics for over 20 years, and we used to go into a place where they had marijuana plants, and that used to be a restful thing. But now it's just growing out there in the open field. But it's CBD, it's not marijuana.
Yeah, and if you know somebody that needs to try the oils, give Melissa a call.
We're not affiliated with them at all.
We're not getting anything from them.
Not doing it, but we've known Melissa since she was 14 years old, and just good people, very, very good people. All right, so I'm gonna let y'all go. And my dog is ordering us around. I'm not sure what
she's being polite.
She needs right now. But y'all have a good night. We absolutely love y'all. And hope to see you back.
Inside voice.
Hope to see you back on Tuesday.
Inside.
What is it? What is it, voice. Maggie? What? What? Okay,
that's a good inside
That
voice.
Is good inside voice. That is good inside voice. You want to see? You want to see who it is? Oh, you don't want to. You've been camera shy.
Camera
time.